Welcome to EnergizeUtv. This is a space for conscious conversation, grounded leadership, and embodied truth. I'm Angel Marie. Each episode delivers fresh perspectives, expert insight, and actionable strategies to help viewers elevate their energy, expand their potential, and live with greater purpose and vitality. This is not just a TV episode. It is a movement to awaken the world, raise collective consciousness, and inspire positive change. Welcome back to Energize You TV, where energy meets modern life. I'm Angel Marie, your energy activation catalyst. What if trust was not about living or having all the answers, yet about honoring the energy behind the choices? I want to take a moment and thank Prosperity Media Network for this beautiful platform in this beautiful Wrigley Mansion that helps to amplify the messages that help to inform, empower, and reach millions worldwide. And here at the Wrigley Mansion, it's not that you just arrive physically, you arrive energetically. This place is built on vision, intention, and trust. Trust in the idea before it was even proven. Trust in craftsmanship. Trust in the legacy. Nearly a century later, you can feel this energy holding this space, and you know that I'm all about energy. That's what you feel. It's like this that comes through you. And being here reminds us that this embodiment is not about perfection. It's about the presence. It's about standing in what you value and allowing it to be fully expressed in who you are. And that is exactly why we are igniting today. This week is Ignite Your Fabulous culture. And fabulous is not just a word. It's a way of showing up. And my guest today lives this in a real, very real way. And I'm excited to welcome Tamara L. Hunter, a dear friend for over a decade and a fellow Lightworker. She's a cancer survivor, and she's on a mission to change the world through healing, through connections. She is humanitarian, you know what I'm saying, the president of the co-founder of the Global Cancer Support nonprofit, CB4L.org, a TV show creator and a host, a 5-time best-selling author. And she is such an inspiration, motivational speaker. Really, she's devoted to helping people feel supported, seen, and empowered. And today, before we bring on our guest, my beautiful friend, fully, for this conversation, I want to ground ourselves in this energy of trust. And, not as a concept, not as like a strategy, yet as a lived experience. Yet this is energy's biggest topic right now, isn't it? I mean, think about what's out there. Everybody's talking about energy and how it comes in, what's your energy, don't want your. It's a big topic. And I like this from Einstein, because Einstein said, and I quote, "Energy can never be dissolved. It can merely be changed." It can merely be the change of the form of it can be changed. And this is what I've based it over 30 years on. And what an understanding that everything is energy. And that when you're moving that energy, you're connected to that energy, even that we can't see it. You feel the energy before you even think about it. You can walk into a room and all of a sudden your stomach goes, whoa, and you feel heavy. That's energy. Or you're around somebody and they're feeling like all jovial, like I hear from people about me, and they say that to me all the time. When I'm around you, all of a sudden I get in this joyous mood. That is a vibration. That's energy that you're feeling. And that energy is always in motion. And that is the biofield. Our biofield is real. And it's the bubble around you. And that is the energetic field. And I say it all the time. Biofield, energetic field, quantum field. And what I mean by field, because you may not know, is the invisible energy around the environment of the body that creates the body's electromagnetic energy. We have it in our heart, we have it in our brain, we have it in our nervous system that informs and moves beyond our skin. That's the biofield.
Some people call it aura. Either way, into the space around you. And did you know what? That the heart has that electromagnetic field, and it extends beyond the body, yes, but it's 5,000 times greater than the brain. So that's why I say, come from your heart, come from that vibration, and not from your head, because when you're in your head, you're dead. Ooh, but coming from the heart, that's 5,000 more increased, greater energy than the brain. That's proven. So just take that in. So one second. What you think about, you bring about. We already talked about that, right? Einstein says, can't be dissolved, can change the form. What you think about. So why don't you right now with me, it's my favorite thing to do when I'm speaking or wherever I'm at, is say with me everything, or say with me, it's easy. Everything in life is easy. Say it with me now. It's easy. It's easy. There you go. Anytime you say, oh, I dropped a glass on the kitchen floor. That just happened to me. Oh, yay. Now I'm going to clean it up. It's so easy. It's so easy. And what happened? It was easy. And that's how I looked at it. So that's just a little one I wanted to share. So it's just a fun one. So let's jump back into that trust energy, because it embodies the knowing, and meaning is your internal clarity, guiding your decisions, not hope, not guessing, not waiting for permission. It's long before that logic or the data or outside people weigh in or things weigh in. So when I say trust, I'm not talking about blind faith, because that's different. And it's different energy markers vibrationally from faith to trust. So let's just stay over here, and we're going to stay over into the path of the trust. And I really like this quote coming out of the Shine On book, secret number 44. And it says, and I read, and it says right here, the secret to building trust is to be honest and patient with others. This is one aspect of trust that I've learned very, very early on, because when I was in 5th grade, I was a gymnastic. At the same time, I was also participating with my mama, and my mama had a dance studio. So I was doing ballet and tap recitals, and I would go in on stage, but I was a gymnast also. And one day we were getting ready to have a recital. And I said, Mama, I want to combine all of it into one routine. And I remember her looking at me with this odd look, and she said, baby, because, I was the baby, so she always called me baby. Baby, that's a really good idea. But neither one of us knew exactly how this was going to pan out. And that's what the big thing is I trusted enough to try it. I trusted enough in Mama, and she trusted in my idea. She trusted in the experience. So we got together, and something came amazing. That trust required what? And this is the big one, the honesty towards what we both wanted. And it required a lot of patience too. And in that patience with that process, what happened? We learned what we didn't already have, what didn't exist, and we created it. And looking back on that and my first experience of trusting another person, well, I know it was my mama, but it was also trusting myself. And this is why I bring the story up to you, because why? Because you may be a CEO, you may be an entrepreneur or a high performer, and this will show up in your world every day because you trust the team members to execute. You have to trust, right? You trust maybe your virtual assistant and your team that works with you, that supports you. And you trust those collaborators, those ones that work with you, they say they're going to show up, those partners, those specialties. And they have a piece of what? Your vision. And just like that moment with my mama, trust in business. It's not about knowing exactly how everything's going to turn out, right? It's never like that. It's about creating and being patient with people as they step into their roles. So I hope that helps about trusting yourself enough to lead the vision while allowing others to help shape it. So as you hear this story, I just want you to notice what comes up and what you think about on understanding how you are leading and how you're really letting that honesty, that patience, and let them to grow through this energy of trust and trust within yourself. Because trust does not weaken leadership. It strengthens you no matter what part of it is. It really does. So you know what? This also brings in this in a different context. And this one has showed me how to trust plays out in the highest level of leadership. And this was a client of mine. He was a CEO, high level. He led teams, managed large budgets. He created all these responsibilities and at a high level. But when he came in to see me, it wasn't because he was failing at anything. It wasn't because he really did say he was stuck. And on paper, he looked good. I mean, solid, respected, successful, accomplished. I mean, his business, his company was doing great. Yet when he sat across from me, there was something within him. And he looked at me and he said, Angel, I don't trust myself anymore. And I was like, whoa. And I felt this empty energy. And I feel energy. And it wasn't just an empty, it felt like a loneliness, a heavy energy. And he even said, it's not about my business decisions or choices that I make. It's not about my relationship. It's not how I show up and own my life. So I was like, wow, this is really interesting coming from him, because I've counseled him for a long time. His judgment, his leadership, yet intensely, internally, he had lost his connection to himself. And then he shared with me that he's been in a relationship for some time. And from the outside, it looked great. It looked good. From the inside, something felt off. And he kept second guessing himself, which this guy never used to do that. He would explain himself away from his body was telling him. He knew, because I had taught him what the sensations are, how to go into the nervous system. But he was not confident enough to step into it. And so he was really disconnected from his own trust. And he said to me, I keep asking other people what you think. Oof, that's a tough one, right? I keep waiting for clarity. I keep hoping something will change. And what he really wanted was permission to trust himself. And when I looked at him and I said, you know what? We're going to slow it down. We're going to just slow this down right now. And let's focus on the trust that you have within you. And if this resonates with you, go ahead and take a deep breath with me and feel this right now. Because I'm going to ask, what I asked him, I'm going to ask you if this resonates. And you might be running around the house listening to this, so just take a moment. Because I asked him to notice how his body responded when he spoke about his partner. What did he feel? Did he feel open? Did he feel tight? Did he feel calm? Was he feeling totally drained? And at first, for a long time, he stopped explaining. And he looked at me and he stopped explaining it from his head. And he started doing what? He started listening and feeling. Remember that feeling, again with the heart. Remember, 5,000 greater than the brain. Then he realized that he really was outsourcing. And that's what he said, because CEO, he uses that word. He's like, I've been outsourcing my trust, my logic, my performance, and to other people's opinions. So when we talked about him abandoning his own inner clarity, he really stepped into how he could come back to having more of that clarity. So we went through the body parts. So I asked him, what do you feel in your head when you think about your partner? When you think about how you feel? And it took a while, because you have to ground, you have to feel comfortable, safe. Yet he felt all that. And he went, and a couple weeks later, he called me. And actually, he came in to see me. He was so excited he came to see me. And he said that one simple commitment to tell himself the truth, no matter, not to dramatize it. And he even said that. You told me not to dramatize it, not to just be really honest. And and be patient with myself, to stop forcing him to like feel it. Because sometimes we don't want to feel, right? Are you picking your hand up? Because we don't want to feel. So we want to pretend that it's not happening and that everything is fine. How many times do you say that? Oh, I'm fine. And you're really not fine. You can feel it inside. So when he said, I stopped, Angel, and I really connected to my nervous system, like you've showed me before, Angel. And you know what? The decisions about my relationship didn't come from that fear or angst or any of that pressure. It came from trusting, because I felt that trust. And that was so powerful, because I even said to him, you made the right, and I stopped. Because I teach this, it's not a decision, because a decision comes from here, your head. But when you make a choice, that actually comes from what? Your heart. You feel you're making a choice. And when you make a choice, what happens? It's a choice. You can change your choice. But some people do, I made a decision, I have to stay to that because that's what I said. You know how many people I've met do say that? I'm like, honey, that's so rigid. And in this life, and what we got going on, you're just practicing, doing the best that you can to be who you are. So when you choose that, the choice to feel himself again, and that's what he did, and that's what he said, I feel myself again. That is the difference. And that trust did not guarantee an outcome. It did not. But that trust restored his relationship with himself. And here's the thing, and that really matters, especially for you leaders, for you entrepreneurs, and you high achievers. Trust is not only about you trust for your team, the people that help you. It's not only about delegating tasks or building cultures. Trust is about how to stay connected to yourself while making those choices, decisions, okay, I'll throw that in for you, that affect your life. And you know, when leaders stop trusting themselves, they start overcompensating. They start controlling. They start doubting. I don't want that to happen to you. So I want you to start seeking that certainty where clarity is actually available. You know what? This gentleman did not need more data, right? He didn't need another strategy. And he didn't need to come home. And what he needed was to come home to himself energetically. And once he did that, his leadership softened and he noticed everything shift. And he even said, the company is even doing better. He feels better and he is present. Because trust, when embodied, creates congruence. You feel it when someone is aligned. You feel it when someone is not. And you know that feeling. If you're watching this, you know how to feel now. And that's why trust is not just it's not just personal. It's a relation. It's relative. It is something that is inherent to you. It is energetic. So this story is about choosing the right relationship. No, it is about choosing yourself. And that is what trust ultimately asks of all of us, isn't it? So we're going to be right back after this commercial message. And then we're going to be talking to Tamara L. Hunter about fabulous and igniting your fabulous. And again, we are here at the exciting Wrigley Mansion.
If you're listening to the EnergizeUtv, you already know the power of connection. Now imagine sharing your contact info instantly, no typing, no paper, no friction. Our digital business cards let you share your name, phone, social links, and website with one simple scan. Perfect for professionals who want to automate building their network. Ready to upgrade how you connect? Scan the QR code on the screen and get your digital business card built by JavaLogix today.
Welcome, Tamara. I'm so excited to have you here today. And please, I've known you for over a decade. So please introduce yourself.
Well, thank you. And yes, we've known each other for over a decade, yet it seems like it was only yesterday that I met you there in your home city. I traveled over for an event of which you were on stage and you were over at your area, you were doing your deal. And there was just something about you. I literally left the group I was with and I'm like, I'll be back. I gotta go over and meet this lady over there. There's something that's drawing me to her. And when you and I first spoke, I don't know if you remember this, but I definitely do. When you and I first spoke, I said, you really touched me as a mother because your story is so similar to, at the time, she was just this young lady, just coming out of teenhood, going into her young ladyship. And she's got some of the same stuff going on with you. And I really love that song of yours. And I got to have your book because I want to bring it home and share it with her. And you're like, okay, here. And you're loading me up with stuff.
I do remember.
In your Angel Marie way, And I'm like, great, I get to shine off with her now, And I remember driving back because I was living in Southern California at the time. Driving back from, the desert area, Phoenix area, and, where the mansion is. And I'm listening to the song and I kept thinking about, wow, if Angel Marie can do it, I know my daughter can.
Oh.
And she didn't know it then. And the thing, I don't know if you remember this too, you stayed in contact with me because of my daughter's story.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that. So I deeply am grateful for it. You really care. And that's the thing that drew me to you. And then from there, we've just been stuck like glue. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I'm so excited that you're here. And you know what? Let's just dive right into this fabulous, because it's not a personality. It's an energy that you bring into every room, everywhere you go. Not just you, but fabulous. That word. What does that mean? Like what?
Thank you for asking, because to me, it's a big mission right now, because I do believe that we can take one concept, one word, and then we can make a difference with it. So what does fabulous mean to me? Let's spell it out. F, faith. A, action. B, bravery. U, unity. L, love. O, opportunity. U, unstoppable. And S, spirit.
Wow. That's beautiful. And how you use that is you use it in a culture. And culture is not what you say, it's what people experience, just like the fabulous. It's a felt, right?
Right. Exactly. One thing, people may not know this. There's a lot of people that may not know some of my history because we concentrate on the history of the moment, right? What is it that's important to those that we're speaking to, or whatever it is that we're doing to serve? Because that's my mission, is to make a difference in this world.
Yes.
But many people may not know I have nearly 2 decades of business experience as a high level, what they call headhunter, recruiter, and business consultant. And I worked with some of the Fortune 100s. I worked with some of the global big guys and girls, if you will, and in some industries that were just starting up, and help them to actually take hold. And I will tell you, from that experience to now working in the nonprofit world and working with a lot of entrepreneurs and the thing across the board is fabulous: culture. Because when you really put in, and I love this word trust because it's ever so important. If you have a trusted, fabulous culture in a business, in a family, in a nonprofit, in a city, in a country, in a world, in yourself, the possibilities are endless.
It's limitless. It absolutely is. And that brings something up, because can you give the viewers and listeners maybe one thing that they can do right now that can show them, feel them, connect to that fabulous within them?
Absolutely. You know what? You've touched on some, but what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to actually speak to the entrepreneur of your life or of a business, right?
Okay.
The CEO. And the big piece here is if you create a psychological culture, meaning that you ask one question of someone else or of yourself and be willing to listen to the answer. That's the huge piece, because so many people don't feel listened to these days. And there is no trust if you're not heard. So if you ask one question and you keep your mouth shut, and even if it's let's say it's your employee and they're saying something you don't think you want to hear, you need to be willing to listen. And in doing so, that employee or whoever it may be is going to feel heard. And if they feel heard in the moment, the outcome can change. It might not be that you're going to adopt what it is that they suggested or whatever they shared, but if they felt heard, it changes the game, the culture, the trust.
And because they feel valued, that's the thing. And everybody, we all want to feel like we are involved, and we want to feel valued.
One question is all it takes. That's what I'm going to encourage people. One question, and then button it.
There you go. And you know, this is a really good one. This was a research in 2014, and it was published out of the Academy Journals by this Barbara Friedrichsen. And what she found was that positive emotions like joy, interest, and appreciation expands how people think in the moment. And it helps to bring and to cultivate that long-term resilience, creativity, and it even said, and more fabulous culture over time. I was like amazed, but that's what this study said. Right?
Oh, 100%. You know, let's just be real. For those, you kept mentioning the CEO, the high achiever, you know, the leaders out there. Bottom line, guys, you want to save money on your bottom line. Let's be real. And if you don't have a fabulous culture going on, people like me, headhunters back in the day, wink, wink, we know it. And we can pluck the people out. And do you know what that bottom line is? You know what that bottom line is for you in the employee cost to to find someone new, the lost time, the lost energy, all of it. You know how expensive that is to you. Sure, it's a tax deduction to go out and hire someone else, but it is proven. I know this. I've spoken on many a stage. I have consulted with many a company. There is never a upside to creating an environment where a recruiter can pluck your people out.
Totally. Absolutely. And you know, this is another good one. Trust is built when actions match words over time. 100%. Because you have to be able to connect to that, to make sure of this. And you know, I like this one too, because this is a study out of 2016, a global research published by Delanton found that organizational culture is one of the strongest predictors of business performance. Innovation. That's what I liked about it, because it's talking about the innovation and long-term success, often overwhelming strategy alone. Whoa.
Yes and yes. I will tell you this. There was one company that did have a really amazing culture. And you know, so much so that they even extended it to the outside consultants, such as myself. I had permission to suggest, I went to the board one time with someone that I felt very important that they have on their team. They didn't know they needed the person. They didn't have a job for that person. They didn't have a place for this person. They needed this person. They didn't know it. I went in, I made the case. The president of the board said, okay, I trust you. Let's do it. Do you know, because of that open culture and the belief that they had, not only for their employees, but the people that they work with, such as myself, that company, it was actually a sovereign nation. I was down in Southern California, and many people know about the casino situations. This was a sovereign government, and they went light speed above the others because of the choice to hire, to trust and have the culture to invite. And that's not always the case, especially in a sovereign nation like that, to trust who they believe in. Okay, I'm going to work with you. Now, let's put the muscle there. Let's trust what you have to say. Let's go ahead and bring the person in. And I checked, because this was a few days ago. I checked in, and do you know that they actually said that because of this, their initiatives went over and they much bigger. They were able to spearhead initiatives that they say the cousins then followed. So it became trailblazing, the ripple effect, because of the culture that they created and the trust that they had in their outside consultant.
It's beautiful. And you can see Tamara's passion for this, because she's so committed, because she's done it for so long also. And I like this one because the culture is shaped by what you tolerate and what you model. And this is what you're saying, because this modeling is the important part here. You must model it, leaders. And you do that by having that trust. And that's the important part. And I really like this one too. And it's another study, but it's about trust this time. And it's a research published by Harvard Business Review by this man, Paul J. Zenk. And he found that high trust workplaces experience significant lower stress. And you know, we don't want to talk about stress. Nobody wants to talk, but it's real. It's real. High, and it also is higher engagement and stronger performance, showing that trust directly impacts how people show up and lead.
100%. I can tell you this, that the companies that had that type of culture and that have that type of culture, you can't recruit from. Those are the ones I wanted to work with and I wanted to represent. I knew who they were. We knew who they are. And we know who they are. We know who you are. And that's the thing about it, is that you can't hide it under, as they say, a bushel. It's a small world in whatever your niche is, and you need to absorb that and understand that. And I will tell you this, I heard it in so many meetings, and oftentimes I'm just like, okay, that's your choice. And that would be, all right, you know, you really could be working on this and that and, you know, more the cultural side. And they didn't have the kind of culture that they wanted, and they didn't understand why their bottom line wasn't, you know, where they wanted it either. And so they hire people to come in. They don't listen to them. And because that's a soft skill. Oh, that, you know, that's not a piece of equipment. That's not a this. That's not a that. That's not a concrete, evident, whatever.
Yeah, I have to interrupt you because they really do see, a lot of people look at it as a soft skill, and it is not a soft skill. It isn't.
The bottom line, if you see your revenue as a soft skill, okay.
And your culture, if the culture isn't correct, you're not going to be building that. You know, when people feel fabulous, performance seems to it just raises naturally, doesn't it, Tamara?
100%. 100%. You know, the feeling fabulous, when you put all the words into action, it's a full circle. It's a full life. You know, you really are showing up at your peak performance, and to show up in a trusted state This is the key here. If you can trust yourself or your environment, whatever that is, every moment of our life is precious and priceless. So trust each step that you're taking. And if you put the fabulous into it, you're going to love your day.
Yeah.
You're going to want to show up for the next one.
And the thing is about this fabulous. It's the culture, but it's not just in business. It's everything that I see in my life, that I see in your life, always. And it's not about forcing that inspiration or that motivation, because I don't do that. I look at life as I activate it, I calibrate it. And it's not a journey. It is an adventure. And that is why you and me, because we look at it as, right? We look at it as like, how do we get that? How does that happen? And it really is about fully embracing yourself and knowing that this strong culture will build upon that. It's not accidental. It's that culture depends on how we act. And that's a healthy culture. Because we also, what do? We trust it. Then we have that clarity. Wow. Yeah. True. And then we have that sustainable success. And that is what we all want. I don't care if you're entrepreneur or what, it's absolutely. And that's why I love this one too. In 2020, a workplace research from Gallup found that the teams with strong engagement, meaning they listen, the trust and the performance was better. They stayed longer. And the big one, right, Tamara, is they felt healthier. And that more fabulous culture that supports long-term success.
Yes, it is a ripple effect.
Yes.
Where does it start? I do believe it starts top down. But then the bottom up is just as equally important. So think of the full circle. And that's where when I would go in and consult with business owners and CEOs and boards and such things, I would let them know that, it is how you show up. You're, that whole lead by example. There's a lot to it. Don't overlook it. Some of this stuff is so elementary. I mean, you go to Business 101 and it's right there. Well, it's there because it works. It's solid. And you don't have to reinvent it. You have to, though, be willing to take the action and empower yourself to empower your employees. And don't feel threatened when you show up and you create an environment where they want to show up and even strive to be maybe better than you are. Oh my goodness.
You said it.
What happens? What happens? The business happens or the family or the community or, because what happens then is the collective has that energy of success and trust, because when you can trust each other, it becomes almost like that dance. When you were talking about your mom, the different types of dancing, right? And you trusted your mama, and you were able to put this routine together. Well, that's exactly what business is about. And a business leader that doesn't see it, talk to me. I'll help you. Because the bottom line is, it is going to save you money to understand this. And I am thrilled. Real quick, I went to a meeting long ago where they were talking about computers and they're saying, someday you're not going to have a receptionist. You're not going to have this or that. And I'm like, everybody's like, what? They foreshadowed this. So then they're like, well, then I won't have to do so much. No, what is happening right now? Culture is more important right now than it's ever been, because the employee, the human, wants to feel valued.
Yes.
And they're going to go somewhere else if they're not. So lead by example and create the environment, and you're going to have them retiring with you.
Yes, they are. This has been so wonderful. Thank you so much. This has been such a great conversation. Oh my gosh, there's so much more. But you know what? Wow. I need to thank you, Tamara, for being here, and tell us, what is your free gift that you're giving away?
One of the things that's near and dear to me is actually those people that are affected by cancer and other life-changing events in your lives. That's everyone. So my gift is go to the website of our nonprofit and know that you're not alone. Go to the bottom of the page and there is a celebration journal. You can print it off. We're not going to bug you. Just put your first name and your email address. It comes right over to you. And
that's beautiful. And, thank you so much. And just go ahead and take a look right now at this. There's the QR code right there. And you can go ahead and take the picture of it. And you can get that right now because it's coming definitely from her heart. And as we wrap up now, do you have any other final words for everyone to leave them today?
I want you to do this. Is just understand how important you all are. Trust yourself, and you are fabulous.
I love it. Fabulous, fabulous. Thank you so much for being here. Until I get to see you next time. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. I see you. I celebrate you. And I put love all the way around you. So thank you so much for being here because I see you. So excited to show you a little bit about the Wrigley Mansion. Many of you have been asking, I'm hearing you. Here it is, a little bit about where I'm at in this beautiful, legendary, historical place. This whole building, I can't even say it's a building, this mansion was built in 1929. And the way that Wrigley he built it with his wife in mind. Now, his wife was only 4'11". Now, I'm 5, maybe 5'2". And if we look around, everything is shortened. Even these are shortened. And it's just amazing how much he loved her so much. And as we look out into the Phoenix with this beautiful day, which is really odd because we always have sunny days. It really is always sunny. I wanted to show you that it is really perched up on top of this beautiful mountain. And he did this on purpose so that he could get up and see this beauty. And the mountain, I think that's Camelback Mountain over there as we just move over, and how he strategically put the windows in certain places so that we could see. This is amazing to me. And the history and the legacy that he left for us to see. I'm glad I'm being able to share it with you, on my TV show and then also the podcast. If you would like to experience more of me beyond the show, I would love to gift you with a membership for the Energy Reset Session. These are gentle Tai Chi inspired movements and practices that are designed to help you to feel calm, clear, and grounded. So go ahead and scan that QR code. Join me online on Monday and Wednesdays, and I can't wait to see you there. And if you would like to even go deeper, go ahead and get these books. These books are the foundation of my teaching, and you can experience that you just experienced on EnergizeUtv, and they're available as well. And you know what? It's a deep dive next week into Ignite Your Focus, Increase Your Potential with Nicole Fontrens. And here is her spotlight moment.
Hello, sweet souls. Angel Marie has been my into this beautiful world of healing. So I am honored to be here today to share in her passion and purpose. My name is Nicole Fonovich, and I'm with Nicole and Yoga and Holistic Wellness, the founder of an award-winning mobile yoga and holistic wellness practice that goes directly into workspaces and schools, hospitals, hotels, helping people. And my mission or purpose here is to help others. So today I'm going to be providing a great tip for those suffering from stress and anxiety. It's called the box breath. It's also known as the 4-part breath, and it could be done whenever your heart rate or your breath is irregular. So let's go ahead and do this together. And on an inhale, we'll inhale to a count of 4. Hold that at the top for 4 seconds. And then we'll be exhaling on a count of 4. And holding at the bottom of that breath for a count of 4. Simply repeat this process a few times, which will help regulate your nervous system, take your attention away from what was happening to the present moment, and could really be a benefit both done seated or standing upright. So I want you to know, whether you're on a path of healing, growth, or just becoming in touch with your energy, know that your energy matters, your voice matters, and you are not alone. I'm excited to connect with you for the full episode.
Wow, she really touched some wonderful pieces with how to breathe and really connect to your energy. So mark your calendar for next week. You're going to love this conversation. And remember, your energy is the music of your life. So keep it tuned, keep it flowing, and keep it shining bright. Because I'll be right here every week just for you with more wisdom, energy, and golden nuggets to lift you higher. So this isn't just a show. It's a movement. It's a global impact. Until next time, keep igniting your energy, activating your joy, and always elevating your abundance. And you know what? Come with me right now and go ahead and listen to the words and connect to this energy and keep shining on, shining on. You got ambition, fire and soul. Look within your heart, let your spirit flow. Ask for what you want, show them what you got. Take it to the top, don't you ever stop. Shine, shine, shine on. Raise your vibration, shine, shine, shine on. Looking for the answers, seeking you will find. Open up your heart, leave it all behind. Smile and laugh, always give back. Glowing like a star, show them who you are. Shine, shine, shine on. Raise your vibration, shine, shine, shine on. See you next time.
Before you go, take a moment and ask yourself one simple question. What am I taking with me from this conversation? I'm Angel Marie, and this is EnergizeUtv, where we help you live with greater purpose